Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. My name is Liz Norton, and I'm here talking to you today as the course leader. And as you'll see, I've entitled the little talk Something for Everyone, Public Health as a Focus for Postgraduate Study. And the reason I said that it's something for everyone is that public health has a very broad remit, which is what you'll see hopefully through the presentation. So I wanted to introduce you to that notion that it's everybody's business, really. And this talk is really based upon the information that I've gleaned from current students and also applicants in my experience of being course leader. So the purpose of this little session is to illustrate really how public health encompasses wide-ranging national and global issues, and to think a little bit about why it's seen as being relevant to all. And to help you to discover how you and your interests fit into the public health agenda, by perhaps helping you to uncover your own passion for the subject area, and to introduce you really to the skills that you'll be developing during a course such as the one that we run at Bournemouth. And also I'm hoping that I'll be able to inspire you to come to Bournemouth to study public health with us. So first of all, I put this slide here to illustrate really a part of the global context for public health, and many of you will probably be familiar with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Unfortunately, I haven't got time to show you the little clip that lies beneath this slide, but if you do click on it later on when we post the presentation onto the website, you'll find a light show which is quite entertaining about the Sustainable Development Goals which we have internationally, and they'll help you to see the breadth really of public health work globally. So I'll leave you to have a look at that link in your own time as you wish. But what I would like to say is that because public health has such a broad application, it means that the students who come on our course have a range of experiences, and they come from a range of backgrounds such as medical background, dentistry, nursing, midwifery, service users. We've had teachers come to us, biochemists, we've even had a farmer come and study with us. And the important thing too is that we take an international perspective, and students' assignment work is all geared to their areas of interest. I'll talk a little bit more about that shortly. So what I would encourage you to think about is what your public health passion is. And the reason for this is that you can then reflect that in any applications that you have to us, because it's important that at postgraduate level you have an understanding of how your background fits with the study of public health. Okay, so it is important for you to think about that at the application stage, basically. Something that I just wanted to mention relates to what's special about postgraduate level study and public health, and to think a little bit about what characterises postgraduate or level 7 study. Level 7 means master's level. And one of the key things that I've noticed in people's applications to us is that they're inspirational, and they often relate to applicants wanting to make changes. And in order to do that, it's important that we use evidence to underpin the work that we do and public health interventions that we develop. And so that's where these academic skills at postgraduate level come in, because what we help you to develop is the skill to critically appraise research evidence and to think critically about issues rather than take them at face value, and to make what we call the postgraduate transition, which is the move, if you like, from undergraduate thinking to postgraduate thinking and all that involves. And just to give you a little taster, if you're interested in applying, or if you have applied already to us, the characteristics of study at level 7 are as follows, really. It's important that you develop in-depth knowledge, so we encourage you to focus on particular areas of interest to you so that you can study them in depth. We also encourage you to study independently. Now, it doesn't mean that we're not here to support you. There is lots of support here at Bournemouth University in all sorts of ways, including pastoral support, study support, IT support, but with all the support available, we encourage you to study independently. And that's because when you leave us, we wouldn't have done our job if you weren't able to follow up in the future any issues that you needed to investigate independently, if that makes sense. So we won't always be here, as it were. So we encourage you also to think independently. So it's about making the postgraduate transition and starting to think based on the evidence, but independently. It's also about being able to analyse that research that you read, and to also analyse other types of knowledge and to come up with conclusions based on the information available to you. It's about being able to evaluate your own work and also others, and it's about being able to bring information together to come up with new solutions to problems and offer new ways of thinking about things. It's also about being able to communicate your ideas and arguments effectively, and also doing that accurately in an academic way. And to that end, we involve you in a variety of different types of assignment. So, for example, you'll write essays and reports and present your ideas. Those are just some examples. But it's an important part of our role to help develop you for your academic and practical career in due course. So, another thing to mention about Level 7 study is that it's a journey. It's a learning journey that we help you along. So it's about you being prepared to change, because something that always strikes me is that our students say that they finish the course a different person than when they started it, in a positive way. So you do need to be prepared to change as a consequence of your journey. So now it brings us on to why study public health at Bournemouth University. Well, I think this slide really it kind of epitomises our philosophy, really, of an international perspective, and also helping hands, development of interventions and so forth is reflected there. But on a practical level, at the university we do have, as I said, significant numbers of support systems available to you. So, for example, you would have myself as an academic advisor and a unit tutor. You would also have access to a whole range of resources related to academic skill development. We have our library services, we have our IT services, and we also have, as I say, pastoral support available to students through the Students' Union Advice Centre, but also things such as our multi-faith chaplaincy service. We have committed and expert staff, and for us, we're all active researchers, and so we can bring our research experience into our teaching and hopefully inspire you to learn and develop your academic skills. The course has a broad focus and an emphasis on community development. It's also a very flexible way of studying. For example, you can study for the full MSc Public Health, or we do have some exit qualifications such as the postgraduate certificate in Public Health. If I just talk a minute about the course, some of this I've mentioned already, but you'd be learning in a multinational, multi-professional context where public health is considered in its widest sense. As I say, we take a very broad view of what public health entails. You can choose the focus of your assignment work and study a topic of your own choice in significant detail. Some students choose to apply for membership with the Royal Society of Public Health, which gives them access to various resources. And as I've mentioned before, academic staff, we work in practice and conduct research, so that ensures that our teaching and learning opportunities are very relevant and up to date. So if you're interested in studying the course, you would be involved with these units of study: context and scope of public health, epidemiology and infection, public health management strategies, health promotion and partnership working, exploring and evaluating evidence, developing a study proposal, and finally, for the Masters, you would complete a dissertation project, which can be done currently either as a primary research project, collecting primary data, or as using a literature review methodology. In terms of career opportunities, the course really prepares you for a diverse range of roles. As I've mentioned, really, public health is everybody's business, and so the roles that you could potentially become involved with in the end could be quite diverse. But some of our students from the past have carried on to work for international charities, organisations such as the World Health Organization, and local government. So those are just examples really of potential outcomes. So just in summary, I've hoped in this little session to have illustrated how public health encompasses wide-ranging issues, national and global, and I've tried to just indicate that it's been seen as relevant to all. Help you to discover how you and your interests fit into the public health agenda by helping you to uncover your own passion for the subject area. So if you're not aware of your link with public health at the moment, as it were, then it's well worth thinking about. And also, I'm hoping that I've given you a little bit of insight into postgraduate study of public health and what that entails, particularly because this is an academic course. It's an academic public health course. And also, I'm hoping that I've inspired you to study public health with us at Bournemouth University. And so that's the end of my little presentation. So thank you very much for listening. And I understand that Kathy's going to be presenting the questions now that some of you may have.